No one noticed at first. Every morning, the same routine. Trash bags by the curb, an old man watering plants, a quiet neighbor jogging past the playground. This neighborhood looked ordinary. Too ordinary. But that night, something felt wrong. The streetlights flickered. A car slowed down, then stopped for no reason. And somewhere between the shadows, eyes were already watching. Not criminals, not police, something else. Inside a small apartment, a man sat quietly at the table. To everyone else, he was just the guy upstairs. Friendly, polite, invisible, but his phone vibrated once. No ringtone, no message, just a signal. His expression changed instantly. The warmth disappeared from his eyes. His posture straightened. Years of training woke up in a single second. He stood up, opened a drawer, and removed something wrapped in cloth. Not a weapon. Not yet. Across the street, another neighbor stepped out of his house. Different life, different job. Same signal. No words were exchanged. They didn't need them. They passed each other like strangers. But their timing was perfect. Their distance precise. Their silence professional. This wasn't coincidence. This was coordination. A black van rolled slowly into the alley. Foreign plates, engines still running. Inside the van, men whispered nervously. They thought this was an easy place. A quiet neighborhood. No resistance. They were wrong. From the rooftops, from behind walls, from places no one ever watches. The neighbors were already in position. One voice spoke softly into a mic hidden beneath a jacket. Civilian area confirmed. Rules unchanged. No mistakes. Another voice answered calmly. Understood. We end this clean. At that moment, the truth became clear. This neighborhood wasn't protected by cameras or police patrols. It was protected by something far more dangerous. They weren't just neighbors. They were UDT. And tonight, their cover was about to be tested. The van stopped. Engine running. Lights off. 4 men stepped out, moving fast but sloppy. They weren't soldiers. Just men who thought fear was enough. They didn't notice the footsteps behind them. From a nearby stairwell, one of the neighbors adjusted his watch. The second hand aligned perfectly. Time on target. A voice whispered through the comm. Multiple hostiles. Armed. No civilian movement. Across the street, another neighbor closed his window slowly. Too slowly for a normal man. But this wasn't normal. The first hostile reached for his phone. He never finished. A hand wrapped around his wrist. A sharp twist. A muffled gasp. The body went down without a sound. No shouting. No chaos. Just efficiency. 2 more hostiles turned around too late. One was pulled into the shadows. The other froze, staring into the eyes of a man who looked like someone's uncle. That calm face didn't blink. Down, he whispered. The hostile dropped instantly. Years of instinct told him not to fight. The last man ran. Bad choice. From above, a figure dropped silently, landing behind him. One strike to the back of the knee, another to the neck. Finished. The entire alley went quiet again. Less than 20 seconds. A neighbor checked his surroundings. A child's bicycle lay near the wall. He moved it gently, out of sight. Area secure, he said. Another voice replied. Good. Begin secondary sweep. They moved like shadows, scanning rooftops, doors, windows. No panic. No adrenaline rush. Only discipline. Inside the van, they found equipment. Foreign weapons. Encrypted devices. This wasn't random. Someone had sent these men here. And whoever it was knew exactly where this neighborhood was. One of the neighbors looked at the others. This was a probe, he said quietly. A test. Silence followed. They all understood the same thing. If this was only a test, something much worse was coming. And next time, they might not come quietly. Morning came quietly. Too quietly. Sunlight filled the neighborhood. Children laughed on their way to school. Neighbors greeted each other with polite smiles. No sirens. No police tape. No headlines. Everything looked normal, but nothing was. Inside a small cafe on the corner, 4 people sat at different tables. They didn't look at each other, didn't speak, yet they were connected. One man stirred his coffee twice. Another checked the window reflection. The woman spoke first, barely moving her lips. We can't stay like this. No one argued. They had all seen the map. The red marks. The countdown. This place was supposed to be our exit, one man said quietly. A place to disappear. She nodded. And now it's the front line. A child ran past the cafe window chasing a ball. The sound echoed longer than it should have. That settled it. One by one, they stood up and left. Not together. Not obvious. Back in his apartment, the man from upstairs opened the same drawer as before. This time, he didn't hesitate. He removed the cloth. Inside was a small insignia. Faded, scratched, but unmistakable. UDT. He placed it on the table. Then he picked up his phone and sent a single message. Active again. All units. Almost instantly, replies appeared. Some nearby, some far away, some from names he hadn't seen in years. He exhaled slowly. Outside, the neighborhood looked peaceful, but beneath it, something had changed. This wasn't just a place to live anymore. It was something worth defending. The camera pulls back. Houses, streets, playgrounds, ordinary places, extraordinary people. Text on screen. They didn't choose the fight. The fight came to them. That night, the lights stayed on longer than usual. Windows that were always dark now glowed softly. Phones buzzed once, then went silent. Across the city, men and women paused in their daily lives. Some were teachers, some drivers, some had families who knew nothing. All of them understood the message. Active again. No explanations needed. Back in the neighborhood, the woman stood on the rooftop, looking down at the streets below. So this is how it starts again, she said quietly. The man beside her nodded. We didn't come back to fight, he replied. But if they come here, he didn't finish the sentence. He didn't have to. In the distance, a drone passed silently through the night sky. She watched it disappear. They're watching us now. He smiled faintly. Good. A final message appeared on his phone. Mission status. Standby phase 2 imminent. He locked the screen. Tomorrow, the neighborhood would wake up the same way it always did. People would smile. Children would play. But beneath the calm, every second would matter. Every step would be watched. Because this place was no longer invisible. It was marked. And when the time came, they would be ready. The first vehicle stopped dead. Tires screeched. Doors flew open. Men poured out armed, shouting, confused. They expected fear. They found control. Streetlights shut off one by one, plunging the block into darkness. Only the moon remained. From behind parked cars, figures moved low and fast. No wasted motion. No hesitation. Left flank secured, a calm voice said. Copy. Push them inward. The convoy tried to regroup. Bad move. Barricades slid into place, trash trucks, delivery vans, cars that had been parked for years. The street became a funnel, a trap. One hostile raised his rifle. He didn't fire. A flash. Then he was on the ground, weapon gone, breath knocked out of him. Another tried to run. A hand grabbed his collar and slammed him against the wall. Stay down, a voice whispered. Not angry, not excited, professional. From above, something dropped. Smoke not thick, not blinding. Just enough. Visibility collapsed. Panic followed. Inside the chaos, the neighbors moved like water. They split. They merged. They vanished and reappeared. Every strike ended a threat. Every move protected civilians. A child's window shattered somewhere nearby. Instantly, a figure broke formation. Civilian risk, he said. 2 others adjusted without question. That was the difference. This wasn't a raid. This was defense. One of the attackers shouted into his radio. This isn't possible. There are too many of them. The reply came back broken and frantic. All units fall back. Too late. The last vehicle tried to reverse. The engine died. Silence fell again. Short. Heavy. Then a single voice cut through. Area contained. No civilian casualties. The woman stepped into the street, eyes scanning. This was just the front, she said. They wanted to see our limits. A man beside her nodded. Now they know. She looked toward the city skyline. And now she said, they'll come harder. In the distance, sirens finally began to rise. Not close. Not yet. The neighbors melted back into place. Delivery men, joggers, residents once more. By the time help arrived, the battlefield was gone. Only broken glass and unanswered questions. Cut to black. The sirens never reached the neighborhood. They stopped 3 blocks away. That wasn't an accident. From a dark control room somewhere in the city, a man watched the live feed. Dozens of screens, thermal images, drone footage. He leaned back slowly. So it's true, he said. They never retired. One of his aides hesitated. Sir, those tactics. That's UDT-level coordination. The man smiled. I know. He tapped the screen, freezing an image of the neighborhood. They chose the perfect place to hide, he continued. Families, schools, civilian cover. Another screen lit up. Satellite tracking. Signal intercepts. They think this was an attack, he said. It wasn't. It was an invitation. Back in the neighborhood, the woman sat at the kitchen table. Her hands were steady. Too steady. We're being mapped, she said. Patterns, response times, weak points, one of the men replied. Then we change everything. She shook her head. No, they already have enough. A phone buzzed. Unknown number. She answered. Silence. Then a voice. Clear, calm, confident. You defended well, the voice said. But this place doesn't belong to you. She didn't respond. The voice continued. We don't want the neighborhood. We want what's beneath it. Her eyes narrowed. There's nothing beneath us. A soft laugh. That's what you think. The call ended. Outside, a construction crew arrived unexpectedly. Heavy equipment. Permits already approved. Too fast. Too clean. The man from upstairs watched from his window. They're not coming with guns, he said. They're coming with paperwork. The woman stood up. That's worse. She looked around the room. They're trying to erase us. One of the men clenched his jaw. Then we don't fight like soldiers. She nodded slowly. We fight like neighbors. The camera pulls back. The neighborhood again, peaceful, smiling. But now, it was surrounded. Bright orange, official logos, legal notices printed in perfect order. By morning, half the street was blocked. Neighbors gathered, confused. Urban redevelopment, the notice read. Temporary inconvenience, temporary lies. The woman walked past the sign, her eyes scanning every detail. Permit numbers, signatures, dates. They planned this weeks ago, she said. Inside the cafe, the group sat again, same seats, same distance. Different war, no weapons, one man said. No uniforms. They don't need them, another replied. Screens lit up on a tablet. Property records changing. Utility disruptions scheduled. Bank accounts flagged. One attack at a time. This is how they flush us out, the woman said. Force movement. Create mistakes. Outside power flickered. Just for a second. A test. A delivery truck stalled in the middle of the street. Traffic jammed instantly. Cameras turned. Phones came out. The man from upstairs whispered, "They want us visible." She nodded. So we stay boring. They adjusted. Children were walked to school in groups. Elders sat outside watching. Every action slowed. Normal. Painfully normal. That afternoon, an official-looking man knocked on doors. Clipboard. Badge. Smile. Routine checks, he said. Behind the smile, his eyes measured everything. He stopped at her door. "Ma'am," he said politely, "have you lived here long?" She smiled back. "All my life." A lie, but a good one. That night, a new message arrived on her phone. A photo. Her building, taken from above. Below it, a single line of text. "You can't hide forever." She didn't reply. Instead, she forwarded it to everyone. The responses came back instantly. Not fear, readiness. The woman looked out over the neighborhood one more time. "They think this is pressure," she said. "It's not. It's permission." Cut to black. The sun rose slowly. The neighborhood was awake. Not with panic. With purpose. Doors opened. Windows lifted. People stepped outside. Not soldiers. Neighbors. The woman stood in the center of the street. "This ends today," she said calmly. No speeches. No slogans. Just truth. A laptop was placed on a table. One by one, files opened. Permits forged. Shell companies exposed. Surveillance footage leaked. Names appeared. Real ones. Not ghosts. Across the city, screens lit up. Phones buzzed. Newsrooms stirred. A voiceover played. They tried to erase us quietly, so we answered loudly. Cut to the control room. The man froze. "Shut it down," he barked. Too late. Servers collapsed. Bank accounts locked. Allies vanished. Outside the neighborhood, unmarked vehicles stopped. This time, they didn't enter. They waited. The woman closed the laptop. "They wanted what was beneath us," she said. She looked around. "But this place doesn't hide secrets. It protects people." A helicopter passed overhead. Not hostile. Official. For the first time, badges were visible. The man from upstairs exhaled. "So it's over?" She shook her head. "No, it's just changed." Children ran past again. Laughter returned. But now everyone knew. This neighborhood wasn't weak. It was watched over. Defended. Not by walls, but by those who lived there. The woman looked directly at the camera. "We're not invisible anymore. And that's fine.